In this lesson we're going to learn how to make this motif. I named it Flower Bud. You will need for this project 3 different colors of thread, or 2. I use in my video only 2 colors for the sake of saving time and it's easier. You can use 3 colors as I have it here, and you will need, of course, crochet hook. So crochet hook 0.75 millimeters. You will need knitting needle 5 millimeters in diameter. I use the handle of my old crochet hook, and you will need scissors, tapestry needle, and you will need, of course, thread. I used here for this project, and I recommend you to buy DMC thread, cotton parallel number 8. And I used colors, as you see, red, gold, it looks like goldish to me, and black. The numbers of the colors you see, it's 310, 738, and 321. Or you can use colors that you like, it doesn't matter. So to make this button, you already have to know how to make buttons, but I will just start because I changed my in a video lesson of how to make buttons. I crocheted in 2 different ways, and I use for this button this method. So wrap around the knitting needle a thread of your choice. It can be red, it can be gold, or black, does not matter which one you choose, and wrap around this needle thread 18 to 20 times. Then very carefully take it off, all this thread from the hook or from the needle, and be careful not to lose these coils of thread. Pick up the hook and crochet around this bunch of thread, single crochet stitches. And what I will recommend you to stop video right here and continue crochet without the video until you will have the button ready, and the button that have no hole inside in the middle. Just make the button that we made in the video without the hole. And when you finish, then you can come back again and watch the video with me. So you'll stop this video a couple times, and I'll tell you when to stop and then to continue. So when you will have this button, come back to this video again. So now, after you're done with the button, there are a few tricks I'm going to teach you today how to make it if you use different colors. So the last stitch that you made, it was your slip stitch at the end. I stretched this last stitch big enough to put the skein of thread through, in such a way that I will not unravel this work and tie the knot right here. Like this. And I am not going to cut this thread because I'm going to use this color one more time, and I will I have already ready pieces, so this is what I will do later. So I will use the same color thread as I used for the button for my second layer of clones knot stitches. So this is why if you decide to use the same color one more time, you don't cut the thread. If you want to use a different color, you can cut thread, weave in the end in the back, and continue with color of your choice. So I chose just use this later. Next, pick up a different color, again the color of your choice, and insert that thread into the tapestry needle. And weave in right away this piece of thread on the back of the button. And I always recommend to weave in a long tail. Five inches or so. So when you weave in a tail long enough, you can cut it, or I can just a little bit pull on it to make this short tail disappear inside the button. From now on I will crochet with this gold color, and I will make a layer of close knot stitches. The way we learned close knot stitches, we were making them on a chain, and I was showing you how to make it for the chain and for the future lessons in the crocheting background netting. So those close knot stitches more look like a ball. This one we will crochet a little bit different. So everything the same, but, and you'll see what. So we'll make a chain to pick up your new color, and we will make a chain, 5 stitches. Chain 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we will make close knot. So we already know how to make it. Yarn over. And we'll do it until we close completely this chain. I normally do it 10-12 times, or it will be 20 to 24 coils of wraparound thread. Sometimes I don't even count because the goal is to cover the chain totally. But for the chain of 5 stitches, you do it up to 10-12 times right here. So here I have a close knot stitch. I covered my chain, and now I can make close knot stitch. So we know from the video about close knot stitch that we took this thread and we make a slip stitch. In this project we're not doing this. We will lay this close knot stitch on the edge of the button and attach to it. So first I will always recommend you to lay this close knot stitch like that to the edge, just to see where that stitch will touch the edge of the button. This will allows you to know, to figure out the place where you will attach this button and a close knot stitch together. So this is the place I chose because this is where the stitch from the close knot stitch touching the edge of the button. Insert the hook into the edge of the button, grab the thread, pull it through, and pull it through the stitch and make it tight. Make sure every time you attach and make the last slip stitch and attach your close knot to the button, make sure that this stitch right here right now is tight. Don't worry that your close knot stitch does not look does not shaped well. You will always take care of it later, and I'll show you how. So after we're done with this, we'll make next chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. and again making clones knot stitch. Wrap around 10-12 times, depends, and make sure that your chain is totally covered with thread. Pull thread through the coil of all this wrap around pieces of thread, and again lay the clones knot stitch over the edge to see where the last stitch will touch the edge, right in here, the edge of the button. Insert the hook into the button, grab the thread, pull it through, and pull this stitch through the stitch that comes from the clones knot stitch. So now you have 2 clones knot stitches. You can stop the video and make 1 more clones knot stitch, exactly the same stitch, right next, and attach it to the button. And if you see that the clones knot does not really look very well, it's just because we crochet and attaching it, touching with the hands, so you can always shape it with your hands, with your fingers. So now you have 2 clones knot stitches. Stop the video and make one more clones knot stitch, and I have mine. And when you're done with your clones knot stitch, the third one, attach it to the button exactly the same way as previous 2 stitches. Like this. So again, you can come back always and shape your clones knot stitch as you go. Next step. So if you're done with 3 clones knot stitches, then we can continue together. If not, you can stop the video and finish 3 clones knot stitches. So after you're done, don't do anything with this thread. We will continue crochet on the edge of this button. Single crochet stitches. So attach, insert the hook into the edges, each stitch on the button, on the very edge of it, and make single crochet stitches. And sometimes if you have problem pulling through, don't be very rough on your thread. You don't want to break thread and damage it. Just slowly pull the hook out and do it one more time. So by doing this, what we're actually making, we're making our edge of the button a little bit prettier. We're just decorating it with single crochet stitches right in here. Now we will continue single crochet stitches, crocheting on the edge of this button, but behind clones knot stitches. So from now on, this is a little bit tricky. It's easy, but I'll show how I do this. So I'm kind of moving my work in such a way that I could see the edge of the button and insert my hook right into the edge, the visible part to me, and I again continue crocheting single crochet stitches. You can see very well when you make with the different colors, you can see very good the stitches on the edge of the button from behind. And don't worry about clones knot stitches. You can push them toward you that they won't be on their way, and continue crochet the round of single crochet stitches. The reason I'm continuing with this platform, I call this part platform right here, because I will have to make another layer of clones knot stitches behind this layer that we already made. And so I have to attach this other layer of clones knot stitches to something, and it's easier to connect each clones knot stitch later to this platform. And you will understand it better when we'll get to that point. And we're almost done. So when you're done, you come to the very end, where the last clones knot stitch, close the ring or your round with slip stitch. Close it with a slip stitch, cut the thread, and we don't need this thread anymore. Unless you do it with everything with one color, then you will have to continue. So you see I shaped my clones knot stitches a little, and they look much better now. So this last end you will have to weave in at the back of the button. So pick up thread, the end of it, and a tapestry needle. And weave in, always on the back. And it's actually easier to weave in the button. Right in the back, and make sure it's not shown anywhere. Especially when you work with different colors, you want your back and the front to be neat and clean. So after you're done weaving in, this is when you cut thread. You don't need this anymore, and it will not be dragged with you. I'm sorry, my camera moved. Okay, so now we can pick up this color right here, and we can continue. So if you are not done, you can continue crocheting, or if you need to undo or fix anything, finish what I did. Three clones knot stitches, make single crochet stitches around the edge of the button that is open, and then crochet on the back a platform, this platform just behind clones knot stitches. To this platform, to this area, we will attach a different layer of clones knot stitches. So to do that, now we will need this color that I crocheted button with. I can pick up this thread and make my new layer. So insert the hook into right behind the clones knot stitch, the first clones knot stitch, into the platform, into the stitch, and we will have to crochet 3. I'm sorry, I'm adjusting my camera just a little bit, that you could see better. So now we can make chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're making clones knot stitch, and you make them exactly the same way, the same size. Wrap around the chain the thread 10-12 times, or until you close totally the chain, and then pull the threads through. And the technique is the same as we did before, only we will attach now this clones knot stitch to the platform we just made behind the first clones knot stitch, right in here. So you can lay your button on it behind there, but it's basically will be here on the back, right behind the first clones knot stitch, and attach this clones knot stitch on the back, right in there. Exactly the same way you will crochet the second clones knot stitch and the third. You can stop your video and crochet the second clones knot stitch and a third one. Well, the third clones knot stitch I will do it together with you. So you have a chain 5, and we'll make clones knot stitch. I recommend you not to be in a hurry when you do that, because clones knot stitches are very fragile and very delicate. You can accidentally hit them and stretch the thread from the previous clones knot stitches already crocheted. So be very careful first time. When you will used to it, you will be you will feel much better and more comfortable. But first time when you do that, please be careful. So the last clones knot stitch, and attach clones knot stitch again to the platform on the back, right in here, with a slip stitch. And I always make one more slip stitch right next to it, in a different stitch next to it, to close and secure. Somehow it didn't go very well for me here. I spliced the thread, this is why. So slip stitch, you close it with a slip stitch, pull the thread out, I always just pull on it, and then the same method, the same technique. Take a tapestry needle, insert the thread that you just cut off, and weave in the end of it in the back of your motif. Always remember to cut long enough piece of thread, the end of 5 to 6 inches. Why this is so important? Because if you're making it for your clothes, you spend a very long time making Irish crochet. It's not something that you can do in a few minutes or in one day. Sometimes you'll have to spend months, a couple months, to create something very beautiful. You don't want, after washing this item find out that something unraveled, it's not a very pretty picture, and your work will be kind of in vain. So I always recommend to take a longer piece of thread and weave in that long piece of thread as much as you possibly can. So this is how it looks like on the back, and this is the front. And if your clones knot stitches does not look very shaped very well on the edges, just shape it with your hand with a nail, but very gently, barely touching it. And this is how it will look like. It still look very pretty with 2 colors only. And if you like 3-color idea, feel free to use 3 colors for this project. You can make 5, 10 of them, as many as you want, to keep it for our future projects.